King of the Hill is back, baby! And Reddit had thoughts. Some fans were crying tears of nostalgia. Others were nitpicking Dale's new voice like their lives depended on it, and everyone had something to say about Bobby's glow-up. So let's dive into what the internet really thinks about Arlen, Texas in 2025. Bobby the Gentleman. The very first hot take that fans couldn't stop repeating was all about Bobby. In the premiere, Bobby hooks up. Yep, he's grown up now, but instead of being some cartoon womanizer, he's still the Bobby we know. Polite, awkward, weirdly wholesome. Reddit was impressed that after all these years, the writers didn't just turn him into a sleazy ball for cheap laughs. He had a one-night stand, sure, but he still treated his date like a human being, not a punchline. Bobby Hill, proof that gentlemen can still exist, even in animation. This is interesting because a lot of reboots ruin their characters by exaggerating their worst traits. They could have made Bobby the eternal loser or the awkward creep. Instead, they leaned into his heart. Reddit approved. And honestly, same. Bobby cleaning up. This little detail sent fans into a frenzy. Bobby stays after a gig to clean the restaurant. Doesn't sound like much, right? But to longtime fans, it was huge. It showed responsibility, maturity, and actual character growth. One Redditor even wrote a mini essay about how Bobby's willingness to mop floors was basically the ultimate flex. Forget six-packs or fast cars. Maturity is measured in broom strokes. People, fans were basically saying, look, Bobby grew up without losing his essence. He's still goofy and lovable, but he's also got work ethic now. And in 2025, that's hotter than NABAs. The pacing worked. Some fans were worried the revival would feel rushed, or worse, drag on with nostalgia bait. Instead, the premiere hit the sweet spot. Quick jokes, good flow, and an ending that tied things together nicely without being corny. It didn't feel like they were trying too hard. It felt natural. And if you know anything about revivals, that's rare. Most shows come back like that one band at your high school reunion who just can't let go of their one-hit song. But this actually felt like King of the Hill. Reddit basically gave the pacing 2 thumbs up, which is good because if there's one thing the internet can't stand, it's a slow burn. Shirt stays on. This comment was pure Reddit gold. Fans immediately noticed Bobby kept his shirt on during an intimate scene. Why? Because apparently, Bobby is still self-conscious about his body, just like when he dated Connie back in the original run. Talk about character continuity. The shirt-on gag became a running theme in the comment section. Some thought it was sweet, others thought it was hilarious, and a few joked that Bobby Hill basically invented the immodest is hottest movement. Redditors loved that the writers remembered Bobby's insecurities. It wasn't just a throwaway detail, it was a callback that made fans feel like the writers actually watched their own show. Revolutionary, right? Dale's voice changed. Ah, Dale, the man, the myth, the conspiracy theorist. Except something sounded a little off. His voice. Fans clocked it immediately. The actor had changed, and the difference was noticeable. Some fans rolled with it. Others, not so much. One of the top upvoted comments said the writer should have leaned into it. Imagine Dale saying he got his voice altered by some secret government or that he botched a homemade vaccine. That would have been so on brand. Instead, they just played it straight, and some fans felt that was a missed opportunity. Voice changes are always tricky, but ignoring it completely? Yeah. Reddit wasn't fully sold. Still, the conspiracy jokes wrote themselves in the comments section. Nostalgia versus modernization. One of the most positive takeaways was how the revival balanced old-school vibes with modern sensibilities. The characters felt the same, the tone felt consistent, but there were updated references sprinkled in. It didn't feel dated, but it didn't feel like a completely different show either. Basically, it lived in that sweet spot between nostalgia trip and modern sitcom. Redditors said the revival respected the original without turning into a parody of itself. That's the golden ticket. No one wants a reboot that feels like a TikTok meme factory. They want the soul of the original with just enough modern spice. And King of the Hill delivered. Bobby's growth is relatable. Fans couldn't stop talking about Bobby's character arc. He's older now, navigating adulthood, making mistakes, learning lessons. Reddit users said it was like watching your childhood friend grow up. Awkward, funny, and strangely, emotional. Some even admitted they saw themselves in Bobby's struggles. Because who hasn't felt a little out of place while trying to figure out life in their 20s? It was nostalgia and relatability rolled into one. The consensus? Bobby's glow-up is the emotional glue of the revival. Fans were rooting for him, and that's exactly how you keep viewers hooked. The ending hit hard. Without spoiling too much, the premiere ended on a surprisingly heartfelt note. Fans were shocked, but pleasantly so. Reddit threads blew up with speculation about where the story could go next. Some were worried it might get too serious, but most agreed the balance of humor and heart was what made King of the Hill great in the first place. The finale didn't just land, it set up the future, and Reddit is already sharpening its pitchforks for season 14. Episode 2, Hank's Role. Amid all the changes, fans were relieved that Hank Hill stayed true to himself. Still grilling, still awkward with emotions, still the propane prophet of Arlen. If they had changed Hank too much, the revival would have lost its core. Instead, Reddit users praised the writers for keeping him consistent while letting others, like Bobby, evolve. Sometimes you don't need to fix what isn't broken. Hank Hill being Hank Hill is the anchor that keeps the whole thing grounded. The final big theme across Reddit? The revival isn't flawless, but it's faithful. It feels like King of the Hill. Feels like Arlen, Texas. And in the era of endless reboots, that's a miracle. Fans nitpick details, sure, but most agreed the spirit was intact. And maybe that's the real win here. You don't need perfection. You just need heart. And this revival has it. And that's a wrap for our very first episode of Public Opinion. King of the Hill's return sparked a lot of takes, from Bobby's gentleman vibes to Dale's conspiracy voice. But now we want to know what you think. Did the revival live up to the hype? Or is it just nostalgia bait with extra propane? Drop your opinion in the comments, and hey, maybe we'll feature it in the next episode.